three, go. Good day, my name is HamzaGokul, student number 192747, and this is my speech for my social science geography assignment. The assignment is split into three parts. First, the world population, demographics, and then sustainable development. The world population was a very interesting concept. This first taught me about overpopulation. Overpopulation is basically defined as the growth of the human population to a point where there is not enough basic resources. There is one continent that proves to be overpopulated. As seen by the Worldometer, the highest populations are from an Asian continent, with three countries being in the top four. It has become apparent that people cluster towards certain areas and not others, and there can be plenty of factors as to why. Better facilities are one, education, better work prospects could all be factors. The concept of world population growth has also taught me about population density and how it is calculated. Population density is basically calculated by dividing the population by the total surface area. This will give geographers a breakdown of how many people are in each kilometer. I have also recognized the importance of calculating density. It can help see how many people stay in that area for support reasons. It can be compared to future data to see how many people have shifted due to urbanization and plenty more. This concept has also taught me about birth rates and how to remedy overpopulation and metaphorically place a band-aid on increasing number of people in the world. A simple solution I completely agree with is education. Educate women about the dangers of HIV and AIDS, STDs and STIs. This will allow them to be more mindful. Secondly, provide access to contraceptives from medical facilities. The second concept of my assignment is demographics. To put you into perspective, I had no idea what demographics was prior to this. Through my research and assignment, I have learned a lot. The basic definition of demographics is a group of populations characteristics such as age, income, and gender. The indicators were an interesting part of my learning because it educated me of different markers to characterize a population, such as birth rate, which is the amount of live births within 1,000 people calculated over a year. That same calculation goes for the death rate, which is defined as the total amount of death per 1,000 people over the span of 1 year. The increase rate is defined as the difference between deaths and live births, which causes a surplus or deficit. The total fertility rate proves how many children a lady can have during her childbearing years. Life expectancy shows how long a person can live up to, and lastly, infant mortality rate portrays the death of infants per 1,000 live births in a space of 1 year. The demographics transition model was something I found fascinating as it requires a lot of understanding to fully acquire what it was about. This model basically shows a change of the birth rate, the death rate, and population whilst taking the factors that change over time into account. An example can be stage 1. The death rate and birth rate are equal due to people producing a lot of children due to lack of education and jobs. The death rate stays high as well due to the lack of sanitization, no safety and food, which means population stays low. As death rate begins to fall because of proper care to people over the next years, birth rate remains high, thus the growth of population. Birth rate also begins to fall due to education, religion, and other factors and catches up with the death rate in stage 4. But the population remains high. In projected stage 5, population actually starts to decrease due to the various projected factors. The population pyramid is something that geographers use to identify high or low fertility rates, age of population, and life expectancy with the characteristics of gender and age. The government can create policies to curb overpopulation, such as implementing the one-child rule seen in China, which can be adjusted to suit the population. Lastly, in the concept of sustainable development, this can be seen as the ability to meet the needs of society whilst not compromising the future generation to do the same. Regarding sustainable development, I can honestly say that I have learned that alternative energy is a viable solution to future energy problems. It does reduce the carbon footprint in most countries, and it has been slowly improving the carbon output. The use of levies, government laws, alternative energies has cut down the level of pollution which affect air, land, and sea, which improves the environment and the quality of crops produced. It allows us to tackle issues such as urbanization in a more efficient manner. The reduction in fossil fuel transit into a tradable commodity for most nations which have access to it, and therefore is now a very, very worthwhile area of research.
503.